My name is Bruce, and today on A Girl, a Guy, and a Movie, me and Janet actually watched a movie that she loved, and up until the last 2 hours, I absolutely hated every fucking time it was mentioned with any positivity because I hated the soundtrack. And we're talking about the eponymous movie from 1985, Lady Hawk, directed by Richard Donner, with Matt Broderick, Michelle Pfeiffer, and one of the greatest leading men of all time, Rutger Hauer.
Mm-hmm.
Janet, you look beautiful today.
Thank you.
Reminiscent of our leading actress of the film.
Yeah, she starts out with a black hood on. So, because she's basically, in the cloak of night and a single woman having to basically fend for herself when Matthew Broderick's character gets to meet her. But she's learned a little bit on how to take care of herself at night, and she has a guardian wolf that protects her, that's never too far away. So, and she feels that she has to protect him. And as the story unfolds, we find out why there's a wolf in her life. And I just thought it was really, 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 I love this movie. The fairy tale love story. And for anyone who hasn't seen it, I think that they need to just take a few hours out of their life and watch a great romantic fairy tale. I think it's just as good as Romeo and Juliet.
Go your
The
shoulders.
romance part of it.
There's my shoulders. I'm
Yeah.
alive.
And I love that shirt.
I love these shirts. I've got 5 of them because I was supposed to get my boss's phone number and the name of this company. And instead of him letting me do that, he's like, "You got pineapples on there." I'm like, What's wrong with pineapples? Just because somebody has ruined the use of pineapples in modern day society, fuck you, swingers. They've fucked up everything with pineapples.
See, I have no idea what you're talking about when you say swingers. The only thing I see SpongeBob SquarePants. What I see
Um,
pineapples. So I don't know.
I absolutely can't stand the fact that I can't wear this shirt without like just going in public and having people like, "I didn't know you were a swinger." I've had like probably a good
What does
7.
that have anything to do with swinging?
I have
I
no
don't
idea, but
understand
the
that.
pineapple is a telegraph to others that if you carry around a pineapple, like you're ready to go. I can swap this one out for you right away, and we can trade. And then
So if you carry a pineapple around with you, that means you want to be a swinger?
I guess I have. That's the
I've never
dumbest thing
I've
in the
never
world.
seen anyone walking around with a pineapple that wasn't at the grocery store.
Now I do know that pineapples are a thing that it was an internet meme where a girl says, I want to eat a I want you to eat a pineapple before I give you a blowjob."
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's great. Didn't really need to know that, but that kind of came out in the early mid 2000s, and it became a meme in the 2012s or 2013 era. But like, I just wear the shirt because I like fucking loud ass Hawaiian shirts. If I could find the Magnum PI red Hawaiian shirt, I would have that. And I would say that that would be my Hawaiian shirt of choice. I love that Tom Selleck red Hawaiian shirt from Magnum PI. There
Yeah,
is
but
a
he wore different ones. He didn't always wear the same one every time, right?
some chat. Say again, Janet.
I said he didn't wear the same Hawaiian shirt every time. He wore different
No,
ones.
but there was like maybe 5 or 6 Hawaiian shirts he wore, and that he had a real good selection of Hawaiian shirts. Cotton Ministry
He
says,
was in Hawaii.
yeah,
So,
going back to the film,
hmm
Cotton Ministry says something that I echoed for decades. I have sisters. I've seen this movie. I can't say I'm a fan. I couldn't watch it for 30 minutes. If I had to watch a theatrical version of Lady Hawk, this would have been cut, print, done, 25%. Fuck this movie.
I
Richard
know
Donner.
because I remember when I first brought it up, you said, "Hell no, I'm not watching that movie with the Alan Parsons Project singing
I
or whatever.
fucking
It sucks." That's
hate.
what you said. So I
I
said, "Oh well, I guess we don't get to watch it."
I hate Alan Parsons Project. Like if there's a Special Olympics of 1980s synth music, it's them. Like they're the fucking special. Like I don't understand. Like I'll listen to Boy George or Culture Club or George Michael, and like yeah, it's kind of gay to they were gay, but they made good music. Parsons, I couldn't ever understand why people wouldn't listen to Alan Parsons Project. It was just like, do you want to be retarded? So anyway,
Well, I
being
didn't watch it because of who was singing.
it's awesome.
I watched it because it was a fantasy, romance fantasy.
You
That's
like
why.
romantasy, I get it. You love romantasy.
Yeah, it was nice. But you can pull up some pictures if you would like to talk about the movie.
eh,
But
well,
I liked the fact that Matthew Broderick seemed a lot younger. He seemed like, even though he was 23 when he portrayed this character, he seemed like he might have been 17.
but that's the problem with Matt Broderick.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Makini, how you doing? $2 super sticker. The Shiba dog shaking his body from left to right, surrounded by red hearts. Hello, Makini. I hope you're doing well. Really enjoyed your show last week. I had to get back and do this before I fell into pumpkin mode. Thank you for the $2, though, sir. And Six Nation 31 King says, I saw Lady Hawk in 85 as an 8-year-old, so a lot of the details eluded my juvenile mind. And over the years, I've grown to enjoy the cinematography, the casting, and my older 48 years juvenile mind. You know, I still have a 12-year-old mind. I'm 50, but I'm 12 inside. Wait,
Yeah.
Janet's disrobing?
He is.
Dude, if I had the money, Janet would just wear this outfit like every day.
I've worn this a couple times because
I
it's
know,
the
and it's
only
been glorious.
dress that I have. It's full length that I can wear to like Renaissance fairs and stuff with the big pointy hat, or just pretty.
We'll have to come down. We'll have to get you down here when they've got the Sherwood Forest Ren Fair open, and you can just wear that and be surrounded by other people that are in costume.
Yeah,
We'll
I like it. It's pretty. It's a nice. I've worn it for lots of different things, but usually it's a princess type,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I like the wig. I think it's really cute. Short blonde.
I could never watch this movie before because I hate Alan Parsons Project that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a
But
failure.
you got to watch this version without it, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and like this version, it had a not updated score. It was given like a full classical score treatment,
Mm-hmm.
and it's off of fe.org. And if you just go to that website, it's a database of a bunch of different movies that have been re-edited by fans, and you can see all sorts of things. There's multiple versions of Superman 2 from what I discovered. This movie's on there with a much better score that I actually can stomach.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie actually is watchable because before I'd try to watch it and the music would start and I'd be like, what am I watching? So I'd try to watch it muted and I'd never know what was going on. And I didn't know the dialogue. We didn't have closed captioning in the house. So I would just turn it off after 30 minutes. If my mom started watching it, she'd watch it for about 10 minutes and she'd go away. And then the pots and pans start banging around and she'd start doing dishes, which is an obvious sign for you to get up and do your own chores. But that movie never was watched. From 85 to 2025, I've always maintained this movie is neat, but it's splattered by the retarded sound of art that Alan Parsons Project is.
Well, don't go so fast through some of these pictures. I am impressed. I was really impressed with the textures of the clothing, all the different outfits that each of the characters wore. I mean, like Rutger Hauer's robe, and his pants and his jacket. The little wasn't really armor. It was like one of those jackets that they wear with their signal on the front of it, that type of thing. It looked like it was really made out of wool, things like that. A lot of
here.
Do what?
The clothing looks authentic.
Yeah, it was very, very rich and detailed. Uh, every outfit that you saw each of the people wear, even at the very beginning, when Rutger Hauer first captures Matthew Broderick's character and saves him, basically because he needs someone to help him, because he feels like he's not giving enough attention to uh, Michelle Pfeiffer's character, Isabeau. He doesn't feel like she's being cared for, like he's worried about her, because it's already been almost 2 years since the whole tragedy happened, where the spell was put on both of them, the young lovers, to keep them from ever being able to see each other face to face again, as a curse for the bishop. So I feel like he reaches out when he sees that this, especially since he said he was bragging, to all the other people there, that he had escaped the prisons of the city. What was the name of it? Aguilar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that he had escaped, and he was bragging about it. So that's why he saved him, because he thought, oh, this is a guy that can help me get in there so I can kill the bishop, because I'm ready to kill him, even though we're trapped this way and we're always going to be this way. We're never going to be together, always together, but always apart. That whole thing, which was very sad. I cried like 5 times. Again, I've seen this like 20 something times, and I still cry because it's so heart-wrenching to me. And the fact that they use so many different is it eagles or hawks, red-tailed hawks, to make this movie, because
for this film, but one
some of them were
really
ones that would land on his arm, and then others they got that would fly on command, and then different hawks had to be used for different things that it was used for the movie. But it did such a good job at portraying and getting you to believe that it was Michelle Pfeiffer's character. So because it was her during the daytime, she was cursed to be a hawk, and he was cursed to be a wolf at night. So they would never be able to touch skin, hold hands or embrace each other. And they had no memory, basically, of what happened to them the day before in their other form. And except they had a kinship to each other, because they knew they were safe with the other. Like when she was a woman, she knew that she could be safe around this giant black wolf. And during the day, the hawk felt safe with Rutger Hauer's character of Navarre when he was a man, and then she would pet his horse Goliath and groom it, and just spend time with him, because there was no way for her to be with him. So it was like love amiss, I don't know. It was just very romantic. I just loved it. It was so romantic, and I loved hating him. But he was great as evil bishop.
John Wood, the only crime about John Wood is that he looks so much like Harry Dean Stanton, and I would confuse those two. John Wood being in 1984's War Games, and again with Matt Broderick, and then
he was a good guy in that one, though.
Yeah,
but he did such a good job for me to see him in this and be so evil, because I really believed he was just horrible, a horrible, horrible person. And something about that actor, the one that played the
monk,
he seemed very authentic and a kind older man that was tore apart by his drinking, that caused him to spill the beans to the bishop about the bishop's love. The woman he loved that wouldn't give him the time of day was already in love with someone else, and that's what drove the bishop's jealousy into oblivion, basically, where he made a pact with the devil to use the dark arts to curse them so that they could never be together. And to me, it was all very believable. So, and it was so it's such a tragedy, a love triangle. And the two that were madly in love would never be able to be together, simply because they were in love with each other. That was the reason why they were cursed. It's because they fell in love. And I just thought it was so romantic. Yes, warrior, I am a hopeless romantic. I can't help it. I just love these kind of movies. I think that's one reason why I love fairy tales so much, because it almost always has something to do with people falling in love and fighting for good, so they could be together. And I just love that. That's one of my favorite things, because I do believe
I
in true
actually,
love.
he's offering me the cherry tomatoes. I've actually got some tomatoes on the vine in the other room. They're really, really nice and ripe. They're not
I'm,
from my own garden. I
I'm
don't have
drinking my lemonade from my bitch mug or my bitch glass.
that's cute, Janet.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if it was this hawk itself or if it was another hawk, but one of the hawks loved being on Rutger Hauer's arm so much it would like kind of ruffle its feathers, look more like poultry than a bird. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, that
not a
was
bird of prey, I should say, because all birds look like poultry. But I thought that was hilarious because Rutger Hauer actually had, when he would do scenes with animals, he actually had some sort of like animal magnetism or charm he used to where the animals wouldn't see him as a threat or as a problem, and they would be able to do their trained item on camera. Now, granted, there's also a scene where Matt Broderick, who's not charming to animals, whose boyish good looks do not work on the horses or such, he gets on a horse and Rutger Hauer smacked the horse's ass, said, "Go." The fucking horse booked off, and it didn't stop when people quit running the cameras on record, and people were yelling at the horse to stop. And the horse went up and over the fucking horizon, and all they could do was just wait for maybe the horse to return or get tired. And Matt Broderick was kind of panicked because nothing he was doing was helping out. Which I find that to be funny, but you can find that story on IMDb's trivia, and also it's a few other places on the webs as well. But this movie has a lot of things going for it. Now that we amended the biggest crime in fucking movie history,
the thing is that the different hawks they had to have.
like
I
four or
think I
five,
think
I
they
think.
had like, yeah, 5 or 6, because the one that will fly and land on your arm is a different one than the one that would just sit there on his arm. See what I mean? Or on Matthew Broderick's hand when it ends up flying to him, and you see the surprised look on Rutger Hauer's face when she doesn't land on his arm. She flies straight to him, and he's like, "What did you guys do last night?" You could see a little hint of jealousy. I love that because he is such a good actor to even be able to, with his facial expressions and his tone of voice, to get you to believe that he has a hint of jealousy. Just like when he said later in one of his lines, he said, every minute you get to spend with her, uh, he's, jealous basically of him getting
She's
to
what,
talk to her and look her in the
27,
face.
23 in
Yeah.
this movie?
Mhm. She's
Um,
27 in this movie, and
okay.
he was 23, Matthew Broderick.
I've,
Rutger Hauer was 41.
I watched her in Scarface, and I love her in that movie,
Mhm.
but this is probably her at her most beautiful, in my opinion.
Well, see,
I,
that was one of the reasons why I think they chose her. Look at the look on her face. She looks like she's hawk-like. She has beautiful doe eyes, beautiful blue eyes, and just little things that she does. And she's so feminine and demure, with the way
Mhm.
she carries herself. Because remember, she was a lady. This wasn't a peasant girl.
No,
This was
she was nobility.
yeah. So she was raised with elegance. So she behaves with elegance. She's not. She does well though at being believable as someone that is being learning to survive at night in the woods, out all alone. You know what I mean? Over time, but she does have a guardian. Got to remember that. Like when she is confronts that one wolf killer, and she sees him when she's fighting with him, and she pushes him and he falls into his face goes into the trap. I thought that was a magnificent way to kill him because that he deserved it. I mean, it sounds terrible, but the look on her face and the way she's shaken by it, even though she's had to learn to survive on her own basically and scrounge around for food at night or as a hawk during the day. But Like when she gets shot with the arrow, and the Navarre hands the hawk to what's his name, Phillipe,
Mm-hmm.
and tells him to take it to down the road to that to the monk. Okay, that he'll know what to do, because he knew that within a few hours, that she was going to change into a woman, and that he would be able to take the arrow out with less damage being done to this fragile little body of her as an eagle. I mean, as a hawk. So I just thought that was really good, and that Matthew's character picks the lock and goes in there and sees her, and she's already transformed from a hawk into a woman, and that's when he realizes that something fishy's going on, because she's now there again, the same pretty woman he's bumped into a couple times in the forest. So that couple right there, I mean, look at the way they're dressed.
The way they're dressed, the edge on that axe, which it looks authentic for the time period you're
Mhm.
trying to reflect. The way that this is rigged up, and the rope looks like it's suitably frayed,
Mhm.
worn. It's not brand new. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
I never saw
Look
it.
behind him. See the little pig pen in a
Yeah,
little pig house,
right there.
and for the chickens, it looks like it's authentically made back then.
Yeah.
All the structures, they had, some of them had ivy growing on them. Some of them had like the
Well,
actual thatch
hold on,
roofs.
hold on. This
Yeah.
was constructed set. This
Mhm.
was constructed. This was made specifically for this movie right here.
That's what I'm saying. It
There's
looked
3
authentic.
castles, however,
Hmm.
that are, I believe, that there's a director in Italy that they filmed at the castles at, and he owns all 3.
Oh, really? Well,
I
that's good. That saved them some money from
yeah,
having to rent them. But
it's
they were still beautiful. The
they
rundown.
they had to pay out money for the castles, but
Mhm.
let me find out exactly, because I know I just read this earlier.
Well, the monk is staying in the rundown one, and the whole part when the different angles over his
Lushino,
shoulder, looking down when all the soldiers are coming, and you see him scrambling around, and he's looking down and says, "Well, I'm a monk, not an architect." All those little. I just loved it, even though it was. They weren't speaking like it was an old movie from back then, like Prince of Thieves, Robin Hood, that thing. It was funny. Okay, it was something each of us would understand, and under and catch that it wasn't right in then, during the time that supposedly this was happening, but it was still funny. It made you laugh. It was
yeah.
um and it was entertaining. So I just thought it was good. It was a fairy tale, so it's not meant to be real life. You see what I mean?
Yes, this guy right here, Luchino Visconti. This guy is the director that he died in '76, mind you, but his family allowed Donner to actually make this movie, and the 3 of the castles used for the movie were owned by Italian movie director Luchino Visconti and his family. So
Hmm.
that right there made me very much value exactly what we got in front of the camera, because this movie has so many things that are worth watching, and it's so interesting to see that you have a film that looks as good now and holds up as well. I didn't have any issues with how this movie was shot. I didn't have problems with the lighting. I didn't have problems with the way it sounded. And we're watching a re-edit on the sound throughout the whole of the movie. But it sounded like they did a professional job of re-editing it and inserting this new, better soundtrack over the one that's been previously beaten up on. And the guy that made it, he was like, I don't know why people are beating up on this. And there's a whole list of shit on IMDb's trivia page as to why people just can't fucking stand the soundtrack. It's like somebody took an 80s exercise video and they paired it with this movie. And that's exactly kind of how I felt. It just was so out of place. It took me right out of the film. But you've got this character here, Giancarlo Prete, and this guy,
Yeah.
he's one of the best actors I've ever seen. do a role of an authoritarian. He died in 2001. The problem that I have isn't really a problem. There was a movie called Dragon Slayer that we watched years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And every time I watch that movie, I'm reminded that so many people in the world that are doing authoritarian figures in movies, they always look like this guy, John Halem. He died in 2006,
Mm-hmm.
and his role in Dragon Slayer, he's this dickhead right here, the head guard in charge that kills
Yeah.
the wizard later on.
Uh-huh.
And I fucking love John Halem, but that the guy from Lady Hawk, this Giancarlo Prete, that guy, he really sold it. He really sold the role of him being an authentic dickhead, and he did it like nobody else. I was very impressed with him, and also it looks like he's the guy that's on horseback doing the fighting with Rutger Hauer. I might be wrong, but
I think he fought a couple of different people. Not just, it was like 5 different horseback fights with the swords.
Yeah.
And it looked realistic because it wasn't like over the top. You know what I mean? Like when he ran by and he hit him with the sword the first time, the guy fell back on his horse. Like, it knocked him back, like a real, instead of him just sitting there like they're all so muscular or whatever, and they wouldn't move at all, you know what I mean, from getting hit with a huge sword, which is really heavy, like that one I have hanging on the wall.
That Flamberge.
I can barely lift it. I mean, it's a real one. And I work out.
A real
I think I'm pretty
2-handed
healthy.
sword like a Flamberge or Claymore is going to be hard for a person to wing about. You have to train with it, and there's a spot almost on the blade where you hold by the handle, you hold it past the cross guard, and you can help whip it around a lot easier. But that's a fighting style all unto itself, and you have to be really fucking good and strong to maintain that for any level of time. If you're going to have a fight scene that lasts for minutes, you better be in shape, because if not, you're going to look pretty bad on film. I know I would be bad on film if I was to take up a Flamberge and try to do a fight scene today. Why? Because I'm fat and I need to get better cardio. All right. This guy I loved. I thought he played a really good dickhead in this movie. Really good authoritarian. Look at these. Look at the chainmail. Look at the fabric.
And I like that you can separate the different people in the different uniforms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but look at the helmet and the texture of the red cloth. It looks like it's a little upgrade compared to some other guy that might be just wearing, some stuff on a horse, because this guy is working for the bishop, right? For the church. So they're going to have more moolah, even though the other people are poor, and they should be, wearing less likely nice linens or wools and things like that. They'd be wearing more raggedy looking clothes. Just like what his jacket looks like, the thing that he's wearing, it's a frock, but it's very cheaply made looking. You know what I mean? It's very poor. He looks poor in the outfit he's wearing.
Keeps don't clicking. Very authentic looking scene, because that probably is cold.
Mm-hmm.
That probably is really cold there.
That looks like real snow. It doesn't look like a fake scene. The way the sun is landing on the mountains behind them, it does look like he's entering a valley area, mm-hmm. And the sun is peeking up over the mountain that he's headed toward. It does look authentic. So, and his raggedy clothes that he's wearing, because he just broke out of prison. And that's one of the things that I wanted to say too, is that when the soldiers go into the prison cell and the other guy, the crazy nut guy, is saying he's like a rat and he flew away, or like a bird, he got away or whatever, but that they said there's no way he could have went down that drain pipe. And you see him squeezing out, the next scene, squeezing through that really small hole in the mud, right? And you watch him squeeze out of it, and he's like, it's not much different than squeezing from my mother's womb or whatever. That whole scene.
That was.
I just thought it was. Yeah, and he said it was what a bad memory that was or whatever. But I just thought his what he said and how he said it fit who he was. His character. And his nickname was the Mouse because he could squeeze through a lot of places that other people couldn't get through. Because you could tell he definitely could dislocate his shoulder or his arm, his elbow or whatever, to be able to contort himself to fit through all these weird contraptions and get away with things and sneak out. And then after he says, "Please let me get out of this, and I promise I'll never pick another pocket," and then you see him come out of the water behind those two guys, sitting on the edge of the water, and he pops up and he gets the knife and he cuts that guy's thing and he goes back in the water and goes away. And as he's swimming away, he's like, "I'm sorry, God, but you knew when you let me out that what kind of person I really was." Little things like that I love, because even though he's a thief, he's talking to God because he actually believes in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does that a few times in the movie.
And he's flawed. He's not perfect. He makes mistakes, but he's on a journey. But we just don't know what his journey is yet. But we're kind of want to help him. You know what I mean? Because you like him. You already like his character, and you want to see him being successful in becoming a better person or whatever his journey is pushing him toward. I liked it. I thought that was really good leading up to that. I like the fact that they unfolded a little bit about his character before he brought in Rutger Hauer's character. And then they bring in Lady Hawk's character, like that. They're all introduced one at a time, and it's unfolding in front of you. So we're learning almost exactly the same way that Mouse is learning what's happening. So, it's almost like we're standing in the room with all of them as things unfold. And I like that too. And the fact that she basically has to get new clothes, steal new clothes, or unless Rutger Hauer is able to put the clothes out for her and leave them for her because he has a place set up for her. And he tries to do that, as you can tell from their journeys, that he tries to have everything set aside wherever she's at so that she has something to put on. And it's different for him because if he's out in the woods, having to, strip naked and then fold his clothes and leave him sitting there so he can come back and get dressed when he wakes up, when he transforms back to a man. So I just love the detail of that. But look how beautiful that church is.
Mm-hmm.
Those pillars.
The setting is great. The fact they use a lot of natural lighting, you don't really see a lot of artificial lights being brought in the interiors. Mm-hmm. They light everything with candles. They make everything look like it's very authentic. Mm-hmm. They give it a very rich, textured feel throughout the whole movie. If you're going to complain about something in the movie, the dialogue not being thous and theys in Old English, therefore, heretofore, etc., that's going to be the only place that I would really slam this movie. This is a fan edit I watched, and that's like the only negative about it that I really feel, aside from the dialogue, is the score. But I also said, like, my rating would be, if I have to watch the theatrical version, I'm in for 20 minutes, I'm out, and 25%, I'm done. This version here that we watched felt very natural, very organic. The soundtrack was good. We got a chance to see something that I feel is a lot closer to the original vision. But Donner, listening to that music kind of messed him up because he was going around doing location scouting, and he couldn't get Alan Parsons' project out of his head. It was a good earworm for him. I don't know why. But I've never thought he was possibly retarded before. But maybe we've discovered something. And anyway.
But honestly, think about it. He was listening to that music, but he was still able to find that scene that you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
So it inspired him enough to create something very visually beautiful.
And I'm not going to talk ill of the dead, but like, he was an idiot for bringing Alan Parsons in here. I'm just going to say it. Like,
but you got to also remember, just like I said, the director gets to choose a lot of things. Now he has to bend sometimes when the producers come and say, we want this or we want that, and we want to lean towards this or we want to lean towards that. And the director has to try to codify them the best he can without giving up too much of his, artistic expression of what he wants it to be. So it's a lot of give and take if you have someone who really is relying on the producers and stuff for the cash, to make sure that the everything is funded, paid for. So, because he gets to, remember, the director gets to choose who his prop master is going to be, who's going to hire the actors, all the extras, who's going to hire the people that are going to do painting or all that. And then when you get on the second director, different people underneath you, they're the ones that help pick crafty and makeup and wardrobe, that kind of stuff. Unless the director's already got somebody lined out that he's already been talking to. That because sometimes you have a director that's wanting to, get in, do certain types of things because they usually have certain genres that they like. And a person might know someone. Let's say like you have a casting director that has an actress or an actor that wants to be in this movie and they've read the script and they really like it. So they'll take it to their casting director and say, okay, I love this. Can you see if you can read it? If you like it, help me find a director that might want to make this into a film because I would love to have this part or whatever in it. So there's so many different ways that movies end up being made and getting into the right hands simply because somebody knows someone. It's very rare that you have a total blank script out there from somebody that's nobody ever getting discovered. You have to pretty much know somebody or nothing happens. So that's just the way it is in Hollywood. So it's all interconnected with people that know each other to be able to get something done. But from what I read, they had already had the casting director had already talked to Sean Penn and
Kurt Russell.
Who?
Kurt Russell was supposed to be Rutger Hauer's role as well.
Well, no, for the part of Mouse.
Oh, Sean, yeah.
We talked to Sean Penn and Dustin Hoffman. Both of them had been asked if they would want to portray that character, and both of them said no. So I'm glad because I really like the fact that they picked Matthew Broderick because I think he did a really quirky, goofy interpretation of it. A loving character, someone that is a little rough on the edges and not real smart, but he thinks he's smart. That kind of, he did good. I thought he was a good person for that part.
Alfred Molina selling it again. First time I saw him was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Throw me the idol, Indy. I'll throw you the whip. Yeah. I don't know. I really think he's
a good actor.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He sold it.
And his eyes, you could tell the way that they put makeup around his eyes. They put a lot of black around his eyes, and they frayed his hair out, and they made him dirty and scruffy, and made him grow his beard just a little bit to make it look like like he was unkempt, because he's out in the woods all the time setting traps or whatever else. And then the clothing he's wearing, it's very like he made it himself almost out of all the skins because he's very macho. He thinks he's the best there is at what he does because he's a hunter basically, and he's scary, especially when what he's hired to do. And when he shows up with his extra horse covered with pelts, bloody pelts from all the wolves he just skinned, and Michelle Pfeiffer comes out as Isabeau and sees it, and she starts screaming because she doesn't know. She knows he's there to kill, and he's looking for her man, and he's gonna get slaughtered if she doesn't get rid of this guy. Even though she's just a lady in waiting basically that's trapped out in the woods alone. So I just thought it was really good. I thought the way that the fright of not knowing if you're going to survive the night, basically each night that went on and each day that went on, whether the hawk was going to survive, just like what happened when she got shot with that arrow. It just takes one mistake, and other predators, that could have taken her out. So he had to keep an eye on her all the time and try to take care of himself. And then she felt the same way. And at night, he watched out for her, but he still was a wolf. He thinks like a wolf, he acts like a wolf, and he's out there and he has the same dangers of a wolf. Like what happens when he is crossing the ice and he falls through the ice.
I mean, he's trying to protect her from guys like this.
Yeah.
And I think he
know.
does a mostly pretty good job.
Mm-hmm. But she does have very delicate features and stuff, and the big doe eyes that could be bird-like to someone, an owl or a hawk or something. So, but I love the layers. See the layers? It's winter. You can see it's winter. It's cold. So him running around with
Italy is not a pleasant environment.
Yeah.
Northern Italy is mountainous. It's cold. It's chilly. It's got the Alps. I mean, for fuck's sake, people think of Italy, they're like, oh my God, it must be like Florida. Maybe the southern boot of it.
Well, they think that because it's wine country. And everyone thinks, oh, well, they can't grow wine where it gets cold. That's the thought process of people.
They grow wine in Mackinac, Illinois. Okay.
I know, winter grapes. A lot of people don't realize it. Sometimes it's depending on the kind of grape you want to raise, what kind of environment you want to raise it in.
Yet another beautiful scene. I love.
Isn't that breathtaking?
What?
Isn't that breathtaking?
It is.
You got the scruffy ground, and then you have a little hint of green from the trees in the background, and then you see the beautiful horses with all the red draped over them coming up the mountain. That is the very cinematic. I mean, that's a beautiful vision right there to watch that. It's coming towards you, and a little bit of the mist on the mountains and everything. It's just gorgeous. I mean, it's beautiful scenery. I can see why whoever were the locations manager was, they did a really good job. Whether they listened to Alan Parsons' project or not,
I don't think they had a locations manager. The way the production diary seems to read, I think Richard Donner did a tour of Italy. I think he went on a vacation first and just went around Italy and was like, I want to make a movie here, and that's what he did. To me, that's exactly from what I read. He didn't have a production assistant or somebody that scouted for him. He went and he looked himself because he wanted to have places already picked out. That is, I believe he does have a director of photography for this film, but it doesn't feel, this movie does not in the least feel like there's somebody that's picking for Donner. Donner's already gone out. He scouted himself. Now he's.
Does he do that with all of his movies?
I don't know if he did that with all of them, but he had tried to build this movie 2 times before, and he's frustrated, and he's finally getting the chance to have his hands liberated, and he's building this movie. He's listening to terrible music, and then he's going around Italy picking various scenes, various locations where he's going to have the camera facing, and when he gets to the actual filming of it itself, he's going to be able to tell people like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Point the camera this direction. This is the choreography of how the actor's going to play out. You do that for me, and I'll be fucking happy. And I think that's basically what happened because he's got Vittorio Stotaro, and he's a cinematographer of photography, but he's, of course, Italian. Vittorio Stotaro, and he is one of these guys that he already lives there, and he already knows where Donner's going. But Donner is very much, from what I'm reading here, a megalomaniac. Maybe he is like that in all movies, but for this movie specifically, he's frustrated, and he's tried to make it before, once in America, once in Czech, and he couldn't get it done in Czechoslovakia, which really surprised him.
Why was it? Is it because of the funding, or was it because he couldn't get
Funding in
the
Czechoslovakia
property he
was so
wanted?
much less. He could have made a. This sounds terrible, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but he could have made a much better film for the money he spent in Czechoslovakia versus Italy. And Italy is cheaper than America by large means. But he was denied funding for Czechoslovakia at the time. And that was in the late 70s, early 80s when he first.
Well, you got to think about this too. Okay, a lot of people don't realize that politics is involved in movie making. What it is. Okay, it's like right now, every single time I do any shows or anything on YouTube, and I do a live stream, and I have my opening, which is Janet from Another Planet, with a song. It's a Taylor Swift song. It's a very small portion of it to where I don't get taken down. But I do get a notification saying that Taylor Swift does not want this played in Russia at all.
Yeah.
So that part of the video will be taken out before anybody can see it in Russia.
And I mean, it's
little simple things like that might be the reason why he ended up doing it in Italy instead of the other place, because our government was having an issue with us spending our money, American money in their country.
It wasn't Czechoslovakia at the time, was it? Wasn't it named another country?
I don't know, but what I'm saying is it could have been something that.
Going down a rabbit hole.
So it's funny, but that's why you have so many lawyers. It really is stupid, but when you go and you watch, the credits of all these movies, you get just tons of lawyers in there from all over the place. And you got a lot of people that are on payroll that are writing checks, because a lot of times they pay each person per day. So like let's say you have some special people there to do special lighting for 2 or 3 different scenes, and they have the script broke down into sides for the actors, and they got these little books for scenes that are going to be filmed that day in this area, because all the trucks, everybody's there, Crafty's there in one location to film. And then you got second crew somewhere else, filming just people walking down the street, or people crossing the street, or a bird flying, or whatever, to edit into the action scenes that you're filming with the first crew. See, it all goes together like that. So there's lots of stuff going on at the same time. It just depends on who you need on each set. Whether you need what makeup person you need here, the personal assistant for a lead actor, like Rutger Hauer would have his own personal assistant that made sure he had, whatever he needed at any time. And same thing with Michelle Pfeiffer, Matthew Broderick, or whoever, depending on what the company is, the production company is providing for each of the actors in their contracts and stuff like that. So it's all very detailed, but then you have a person that just writes checks just to those certain people that only work 2 days, so each day they'll get a different check that they can, cash out or whatever, but that's how it works. And then they can roll that all into the budget to the budget people, and they know each week how much money they've spent on their productions and stuff to try to stay on budget. So it's just really very, very detailed. A lot of people, and that's why there's so many thousands and thousands of names on these big feature films, because there's so many people involved in. That's why when we watched that one movie about the starship, I can't remember the name of it right this minute, but you were telling me that Kirk Cameron had painted the backdrops. James Cameron. Okay, different things like that. That was interesting, because I'd never known that he'd done anything, like that. That trivial.
He's a hell of an artist. He did the matte work for Dark Star. He did matte work.
Yeah, Dark Star. That was
Dark Star, and for Escape from New York. Mm-hmm. He was a special effects guy on Battle Beyond the Stars, which is another really low budget Star Wars ripoff from '81. Mm-hmm. And that movie, actually, because of the characters and the script, actually has got good ratings. It's actually a fun movie to watch. John Saxon's in that movie, as is some other notable stars as well. But James Cameron, when he was building the Aliens pre-production, first off, he showed the record producer, she's like, I'm going to make a movie, and it's going to be like Alien, but it's aliens. He draws a $ sign at the end.
Yeah.
And then once he got the go-ahead, he starts doodling and drawing and sketching out all the various things he needs to build. And they basically scratch built a lot of it. They have the combination troop transport, which looks like the front of a U.S. helicopter slapped on the front of a box crate, which is exactly what it was. Kind of goes through the clouds, and you see the missile pods opening as it's getting its landing gear down because it doesn't know what it's going to have on the surface. But he does such a good job of building the world through the props that James Cameron is probably one of the best visual artists in the industry. It's kind of sad he's like 70 years old now and making movies about blue people, but that's just
well, each of them go in their own direction depending on where their career has led them. But the thing is that young people watching, like a young person watching John Carpenter's movies, right? They will just dwell on, oh, I wish I could work on a movie with John Carpenter, and let him be my mentor or whatever type of thing. And it inspires other people to be able to make their own movies and put their little niche in somewhere. So we have young up and coming actors that learn from other actors above them. Then you have directors that learn from other directors. You see, they each take their own and move on if they get the opportunity to do that. And but look at that. Look how stunning that is. Look at the colors. The beautiful color of the eagle along with his red cloak, that goes with his black uniform. With
Coco,
the white backdrop.
I don't disagree with you on Broderick being a careless little prick. He always came off as somebody who was very much a Peter
Obnoxious.
Pan. He's not obnoxious, but he's too carefree. He doesn't feel like what he's doing has enough weight in it, and he just seems to flit from one part of the world to another. That's why I just disregarded him completely in the miserable Godzilla 1988 film, because he just has like no nuts. Like manhood didn't hit him yet, and he's like 45 years old, I guess, or something like that. He was super older compared to what he looks like in the film, and he's trying to get this other journalist chick back, and it's a standard Roland Emmerich film. Like there's a formula for Roland Emmerich where he always has, like, there's one guy that's trying to get his girlfriend back, there's another storyline with somebody else trying to do something, and there's a third storyline where this guy's going to save the world. And that's a classic Emmerich tactic. Almost all of them since Independence Day have that thread, that storyline going through it, and it's just a different movie with different props, but it's the same script that Roland Emmerich used numerous times over. I think it was the day after tomorrow.
Everyone has that. Everyone has an actor or two that they just can't stand for whatever reason it is. I mean, I never liked Melanie Griffith. Everybody's went on and on about what a wonderful actress, and I'm like, well, what are you talking about? I thought she sucked.
I'm not a big fan of hers, but I do like the movie Working Girl, because that movie showcases just how bad of an actress she really is.
Well, it's just what I'm saying is that, you have the right to not go to a movie if you don't like it, So, I don't have any problems with anyone if they don't like a movie or don't like an actor, because, everyone goes on and on and on about Sylvester Stallone. And once I met him, I'm telling you, I just don't have any respect for the guy at all. I just don't like I won't watch his stuff. Unless I have to. If I have to do a review of it, I can do it and go by just that. But I would rather pay my money somewhere else. And you know why. I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah,
but that's just, we have that right. Thank goodness we live in a country where we have the freedom to say, F you, I'm not going to spend 1 cent to watch that guy. Just like you, we got a break because we have someone who watches our stuff. And he said, hey, I got a movie you can watch, and it doesn't have the Alan Parsons Project's theme in it. We can watch the version he had that was, had different music, and it was great. So it worked out wonderfully. But, we were lucky to have that. And this week we had a fan that let us watch that other movie, Lady Ballers. So we would never been able to watch it. Probably would never seen it. I just thought it was hilarious. So, opportunity knocks, you got to grab a hold and dive in when you got the chance. But I loved this movie. I thought it was great. I thought that Matthew Broderick did a great job portraying the character that he was chosen to play, uh, and I thought he did a good job. I thought he was like the sidekick, basically.
Oh, one of these days we may have to attempt. Either we'll watch a Serbian film or the movie Italian Stallion. I haven't decided yet.
Which one is that? Is that the Sylvester Stallone one that he hates?
No, it's not the one he hates. I think he still watches that to retrobate to from time to
Well, I
time.
haven't seen it.
Okay,
So.
this artwork right here for the poster, this gives me a very 1980 mid 80s feel because this looks entirely like somebody says, you know, I like that show Thundercats. I'm going to use the scheme from Thundercats as my movie poster.
You know what it made me think of?
What?
An
Car?
Asian made, movie. The martial artist type.
Oh,
The
because
sun,
the big circle there.
rising behind it or something.
Yeah,
That's what it looked like to me when I saw it. And the horse, the guy on a horse.
yeah.
That's what it looked like.
I love the horses in this movie. The horses are so.
The scene where they're fighting inside the temple, basically, in the church, with the beautiful horse the bad guy was on, the flowing, gorgeous mane.
Yes.
Oh, it was just, it was beautiful. And listening to them go clip, 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 across the marble floors and stuff. Oh, I just loved it. I could watch it just for that stuff. Just like that movie you got me to watch, the cartoon that I was looking forward to about the I can't remember the name of it again. I always forget it. It was gorgeous, beautiful, but the story was stupid. It was a dumbass story. Everything about it was, that one. Oh, breathtaking. I mean, that was a work of art. I mean, that's all it was. It was like going to your favorite museum, listening to the wonderful music, and it dancing around for you. That's what it was like for me.
They're not dancing; they're twerking.
Well, you know what I mean. From the movie we watched, the only thing is, the story was a dumb story. The story just didn't make sense, but everything else about it was just jaw dropping. And I felt like that a little bit here and there in this movie. I cried. I really cried because I had empathy for the characters. I loved the characters. I loved the romance between the two, and the fact that they would never be together. And that one scene where it's getting closer to the total eclipse that they don't even know, they don't understand what that is. I've never seen one, and because of it's coming closer and closer, they can almost get to touch their hands. And it was heartbreaking, when she flies away, and you could see the devastation in him because he couldn't hold her for a second. Because they had such a deep, wonderful romance. They're just madly in love with each other. And all they wanted was to be together. And because someone else loved her and didn't want to share her with anyone else, he cursed them, put a curse on them. And I love that he gets retribution and gets to.
This is the best box art I've seen yet.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
This is great.
See the eclipse?
Yes.
The beautiful eclipse, because I just had that. I just had a total eclipse. Went right over my property. So it was great. It was really cool.
I've seen two of them in the last year, and I just not a big fan of eclipses. Just me. Maybe it's a spiritual thing, but I just
that scene right there. I want to read something to you. I found. Hold on. Let me look at it real quick. Just 1 second. I want to read it exactly how it was.
Yeah, this
here it is.
A film that would never have made it through the Code era of films with a depiction of corruption in the church. This is a very white hat versus black hat, and this movie, it probably could have only been made in the 80s or 90s. It really, I don't think it would have even been made in the Bush era. But I think this was made at like that perfect window of opportunity where we made great art, and this definitely qualifies that. Go ahead, Janet. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to.
That's all right. It says the scene at the end in which Navarre embraces and holds Isabeau over his head while spinning around was actor Rutger Hauer's idea. Thinking it would bring more emotion into the scene, the director Richard Donner liked the idea and included it into the film. And it said, hold on, I got to move it up. It's down underneath. I can't read it all. To keep it real, neither of them warned Michelle Pfeiffer about doing it, prompting her to excitedly exclaim and laugh in the genuine reaction when Hauer picks her up. I like that when directors do that. And, like I know that a couple times we've read about that with Kurt Russell being able to do that in John Carpenter's films a couple times where he was able to, like the patch on his eye, just little things that the actor themselves come up with that they think will improve the scene that they're going to be in, and that the director trusts the actor enough to let them do it and see what happens. Just like the scene in the one with Rutger Hauer, and he's the robot, the cyborg. Remember that one scene? Yeah, in Blade Runner, where he got to ad-lib some of the lines, and it just, to me, it was wonderful. I just loved him as that character too. I just love him in everything, even the Hitcher. I had nightmares after I saw the Hitcher, and Rutger Hauer was the guy, the hitchhiker. And he was just, even though I love him, like I loved him in this, I was so romantic and I cried, for him and stuff. I still I hated him in the Hitcher, but I hated that he was so evil, but he was believable because he's that good of an actor. I just absolutely love his acting. I thought he was just phenomenal actor. And the fact that he was 41 in this movie, it's terrible that men can be so attractive as they get older, and women just get more ugly. They just get more and more decrepit.
You start off at peak, okay? You start off at your most valuable because you're supposed to be pretty and young, and you're supposed to be gobbled up by somebody who could be your soulmate, wrapped into a family, made part of the family, breed great kids, and then as the children pile up around you, it's okay to let your looks slide because you're not trying to fuck everybody. If you have time to fuck your husband,
but most men, they get tired of looking at the woman that's aging. She's not pretty anymore. Maybe she's gained weight, and then they find a younger version of what you used to look like when you were younger, and and then it's there you go. And then she's stuck not being able to find someone else because she's no longer the young, beautiful girl she was when he first swept her off her feet. And that just heartbreaking to me because I see so many women, older women now, that have had so much plastic surgery. They look like
they're okay. Guys have to fight fucking weight gain too. Don't act like we stay fit and trim.
No, but women don't care. I mean, look at, you had Julia Roberts end up with that one guy that looked like Ichabod Crane. Most women we don't look for looks. We might look the first time across the room because the guy has a nice smile or broad shoulders or a nice tight butt or whatever. But to have a relationship with someone, you don't have to be an Adonis. Okay, a woman wants to laugh. She wants to feel like the guy's romantic. She wants to hold hands. She wants to be swept off her feet, and told she's the most beautiful thing and he wants to be with her forever. That's what women want. They want romance. They don't have to have Adonis, because what good is a guy that stands there like this all the time, but he doesn't pay any attention to her? I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. But
women want a guy that can attend to her intellectual side, and they want him, after they've satisfied that frontal lobe stuff a little bit, they want to see if he can make her walk funny. And if you can do both of those things and walk a straight line afterwards, gentlemen, the horde of women that's out there that's wanting is all yours. And there's a big segment out there that says stupid things like, please subscribe to my OnlyFans.
The men want those women. See, that's the thing. You want, for some reason, you get a guy that wants to date one of those girls, and then they wonder why
you don't want those women. That's fucking stupid. That we don't. If you tell me that I can have a date with you and spend $89 to $150 with you on supper, but if I spend $4.99 a month, I can just go and see everything you could do to a cucumber with your vajayjay, fuck the savings. Fuck this dinner. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'll wait
terrible.
for uploads. You know, there's no need.
What you need is
Smart man won't do that.
need someone who can order one of those boxes and have it delivered every week, once a week, and you cook together in the kitchen, and then you enjoy that. That's the kind of stuff that most women want. They want to spend time with you, not really always money.
Okay, Ruben, this movie with the original soundtrack, completely gay. Just don't watch it. Stay away. There's a fe.org.
That's Bruce's interpretation.
It scores a fucking 25% in the original format. There's no need for
Where at?
What do you mean? For the
Where at does it score that?
For me.
My rating okay.
Is a fucking 25%.
Where do I have to go see
I've tried watching this movie 3 fucking times.
I know.
And
I thought we were lucky.
Like, done. Out. Get the fuck out. With the fan edit redone with a better score, this movie for me scores a solid 79%. I think that's a good fucking score. That's just a sliver under 4 out of 5 stars. Pacing kills it. And if we're gonna go with like it's not true old English, okay, that maybe a little bit, but that's just my. I don't like Matt Broderick that much. I love him in War Games. He's perfect. He's the perfect geek in War Games. There's never been a better.
What about the other one, the Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
I don't like that as much as I like War Games.
Oh, okay. But you have seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that plenty of times.
Okay.
The reason why I saw that is because I felt like his best friend, who was always drug around, and dad had nice stuff, but like he always gets like the guilt complex thrown on him.
Yeah.
And, like at the very end of that movie when he fucking throws the Ferrari through the back of the garage, that's like the perfect ending to that movie.
Yeah.
If he fucking says, no, I'll fucking deal with it. My dad and I will work through this.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. This movie is very quotable.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Crafty Gamer, try dating as a man. That's the thing. Try dating.
Well, I can't. I'll never be a man. I'll never be able to think like a man. You know, I'm always going to be a girl, so I'll never be able to do that. And just like you won't ever be able to do that in my shoes.
No, I won't. But the thing is that as a man, you like just being 5'6", that's 80% of all women would never want to date you.
But see, that's one thing I can talk about. There was a guy who asked me to help him, or not really to help me. He's telling me, what's wrong? He goes, I filled this whole thing out and I'm on this app and I can't get any, the girls that I go out with, I go out one time and then they never answer any of my calls or anything afterward. And I said, well, how'd the dates go? He goes, I thought they went great. And I was like, well, can I see your ad? Can you share it with me? So he shared it with me and I was going through it and everything looked great. He had, so a good variety of photos and he talked about his job and, what he liked to do and all those things. But the only thing that was missing was his height. And I said, well, how tall are you? And he was like, well, I didn't want to put that on there. And I said, why? And he goes, well, because I didn't think women would want to date me if they knew I was only 5'7" or whatever it was. And I said, well, there's your problem right there. Because in your photos, some of the photos, the angles that you use, you look like 6'2", by the way you're standing next to the weight branch, stuff like that. And I said, so a girl goes out with you and now she's wearing heels and she's taller than you. Now she's embarrassed because she feels like if I'd only known you were this tall, I wouldn't have worn these heels. I would have been more.
You know how you.
Wait a minute, I'm not done. So guess what? He put that on there and guess what? Now he's got a girlfriend. So I'm just saying sometimes why would you want a guy that can't even tell you to be honest with you, or a woman? Let's say she tells you that she's average. I had this one guy tell me this too. On her thing, she had her picture, headshots and stuff. And then he said he went on a date with her and he goes, why is it all the girls say average is 300 pounds? So if a girl doesn't tell you the truth about her height or her weight and things like that, the man should do the same thing. So it's what's fair. That way you kind of have an idea. And I always tell people, don't go out with them until you do a video time with them. Then you're a little more or less shocked when you see them because you actually had some chats with them.
I prefer my thing. If I were to be single,
Mhm.
I would do all first dates at fucking Schlitterbahn, and we're going on
Or
the water
bowling.
slides. Why?
Just
I
go
want
bowling
the
or do
fucking
something
makeup
where you can have
off.
fun.
I want the makeup off. I want the makeup. I want to see what the fuck am I getting
Go to
into.
the pool. Go
Schlitterbahn.
swimming. Go to the beach.
No. Schlitterbahn. Let me tell you why. They have
What's
good.
that,
They have good,
anyways?
they have good chlorine content. It's a water park in New Braunfels with slides. It's like Wisconsin Dells, but again, you don't know about that either. I know about amusement parks. I love roller coasters. I love going in kinetically stupid things. Which is why I don't have a motorcycle, because I'd kill myself on one inadvertently, just enjoying speed as it is. But no, I would take a woman to a water slide for a first date, and I don't care. The reason why I would do
What if
that.
it's winter?
What's
You
winter?
don't date in the wintertime?
What's winter?
You
Janet,
don't have winter where you live?
I dress like this fucking 12 months of the year.
Oh, okay. Well, I
God
don't live.
damn it, girl.
I even had winter in New Orleans. It got cold. We had to wear sweaters and all that kind of
What's
stuff.
cold?
I'm not going to go swimming.
What, 50 degrees?
Yeah.
Short sweater.
Well, I wear sweaters.
That's one of the reasons why men love you. You look so good in sweaters or whatever you wear, even in a pup tent. Okay. Janet, men's temperature, internal temperature for a guy, like you ask 9 out of 10 women what they love about their husband or boyfriend. He's so
With their
warm.
cold feet on them.
They put their cold ass feet on them all the time.
Yeah. Or hands.
We don't fuck up our bodies by having a fucking life form inside us for 10 months and then splooge it out. We splooge out within like 2.5, 3 minutes. We keep our body heat.
Yeah.
Travis is like, those are not white legs, those are silver. Like Janet's outfit last week, yes. I just like no, I would take her to a water park because that would be a quick way for both of us to have a good time. If you don't like water parks or roller coasters, I don't want to date you anyway. I don't.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what's important is dating somebody that has that likes to do the same shit. I see these guys taking girls to the museums and all these other places. I'm like, you hate museums. Why? She that's what she wanted to go on her first date. And I said, well, you're already screwed up now.
I love
because
this
you're
quote.
stuck with somebody that's not interested in what you like.
There's a good quote here from Wolf 10 Media. I told the truth, Lord. How can I learn any moral lessons when you keep confusing me this way?
I know. I just liked it. I thought he was good.
The script is
I
good.
liked his character.
Mouse is a likable character.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few characters Matt did in his life that are really good. His character from War Games is amazing, but Mouse is joining the ranks of them.
But also the bouncing off of another character, the interactions that character has with others, that's what makes them shine. Say if you have a bunch of bad characters, no matter how good the other one is, it's going to make the other one look worse and worse because there's no good interactions in the movie. And to have Michelle Pfeiffer's character, quirky, demure, timid, all these little things. And then you had Rutger Hauer, overpowering, jealous, because he's jealous that he's getting to spend time with the woman that he loves and getting to see what she looks like, see her beauty every night, and have conversations and hear her voice instead of a screeching of a hawk. Little things like that is what made him shine as a character. And then him over exaggerating, the conversations and stuff. I love that. I thought it was adorable. I just loved his character by doing that because it added to the romance, because you'd see that slight grin that Rutger Hauer would have when he would say, all she did was talk about you, that kind of stuff. I just loved it. That was sweet. That was what made his character even more adorable.
This is a geese hydra. And whenever I roll this out on one of my two groups, maybe both, there will be much fearfulness in the party, I imagine. Wolfton posts another, probably the best quote of the movie. And he
Yeah.
says, "I fully expect to meet you at the pearly gates, little thief, and don't you dare disappoint me. I'll meet you there, Father, even if I have to pick the lock." And I
Mhm.
thought that was hilarious. I thought that was one of the best exchanges in the film. Uh,
Yeah, it
but
was good.
but Mouse and the Father really did a great job in this movie. Travis J. 1975 says Rutger Hauer's other great movie was Hobo with a Shotgun. Travis, there's a whole list of great movies on IMDb. Oddly enough, Rutger Hauer is in a lot of them, and
Mhm.
his IMDb is worth actually just going down the list of movies and finding what you like. Uh, this is not my favorite performance by Rutger Hauer. He plays a very imposing figure in this film. He does a really good job of portraying someone who used to be an authority figure and now he's been disrespected.
Mhm.
And he does a great job with this character. Janet's not seen Hobo with a Shotgun yet.
Mhm.
We'll be watching that during Rutger Hauer month
We're
next.
also going to watch that Blind Fury or something, aren't we?
Yes, you've seen Blind Fury before, haven't you?
No.
Okay, that's one of my favorite films he's ever done. But that movie also has Randall Tex Cobb in it. It's got Meg. Can't think of her name, but she plays.
Foster.
Which one?
Meg
Yeah, Meg
Foster.
Foster, yeah. She plays Evil Lynn in the
Mhm.
and
Yeah, she
film.
was impressive for as Evil Lynn. When
She
I
was
read
impressive
about
in a lot
just
of
her
movies.
costume that she had to wear, you know.
She does really good with about everything she's been in, and I've
Mhm.
never been disappointed by her before. I think she'll impress you quite a bit with this movie, although she just has a very small part, uh, percentage wise, in the film.
Well,
But
that other one that we did about the jungle, about the young boy that gets taken by the jungle people. Remember
Light
that
in the
one?
Forest, Light in the
The
Forest,
Emerald Forest.
yeah,
And
the
she
Light
had
in
a
the
very
Forest.
small part in that, but it was a very important part because she played his mother, the little boy that's kidnapped,
Yep.
basically, or gets lost in the jungle and raised by the natives. And oh, I just love that movie, and I had never seen it. So, and she did a good job in that one.
That movie surprised me when I first saw it, and I was really impressed that uh, it was as good as it was. And so that movie, we would when they were not a good selection of new releases at the video store, we would
Hmm.
get that and Iceman. We would rent those two out together because they
Yeah.
seem to be really good movies to watch at the same time.
But so what's your score for this movie,
I've
Bruce?
already said it, but I'll repeat it again. It is 79%. If you
Okay.
in the chat have seen this movie before, Lady Hawk, go ahead and put your score in the chat. If you've seen both versions or any extra versions of it with a different soundtrack or different ending, etc., let us know as well because I'll have Janet read that out to you.
Hmm. I've seen two versions. This one today, and then the regular real version of it, and I love both of them. So to me, the way it was done, the original version of it, it didn't take me away from the characters. It didn't pull me out of the movie. I wasn't expecting it to be an authentic, like made back then, like Robin Hood or something. I was expecting it to be fun, and it was. So I enjoyed it both ways. But the thing is, I thought the scenes, the costumes were just phenomenal. To me, it looked like everyone that was involved in this movie did the best they could to give us a wonderful, fun, entertaining love story. That's what I felt. And I thought, and I definitely felt like that's what I got when I watched it. And I loved the actors they used in it. I just loved it. I thought it was wonderful. And I gave it an 88 score out of 10. So 8.8.
Okay.
That's my score. And the only reason I'm giving it that is because there were a couple of little things that really didn't make any sense uh, with the way that they put it together. And I really wasn't editing, because I really thought the editing was phenomenal, considering. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I didn't see any editing flaws. It all flowed very well. That was beautiful. Okay, is that Hardwicky? Yeah, Hardwicky said, for me, original 7 out of 10, rescored 9 out of 10. Wow, so he did love it. I almost gave it a 9. I was very close to it, because man, today watching it, I was crying. I was like, oh, emotional. It was so good, because I'd forgotten how much I wanted, how much I loved this movie. I felt like a young kid again, watching it, in awe, of the romance and stuff. I just thought it was beautiful. Still a beautiful piece of work, I think.
We got another review here.
Which one? Oh,
Right
seven,
there.
7 out of 10. That's good.
And that's from him.
From Travis.
Our Moderates of
Oh,
Block.
yeah. I know she loved it. I can see
And
why.
then one of our assistant viewers.
Oh, yeah. I got to pick up a prescription, so I'll leave my score in the chat just in case I don't make it back in time. 75 out of 100. Good, solid film with some innovative liberties. Yeah, I like that. I like that when a director puts their own touch in it. And to me, that's important. That's what makes you like one director over another. It says it's a cult classic for good reason. And yeah, it is. I really believe that too. I agree with them. Very close to my score, but mine's a little higher than his.
All right. Flesh and Blood was good. Rutger Hauer's one of my favorite male actors. I dig a lot of his films. Wolfton Media with a score.
Okay, it's an 8 out of 10, music mostly and action. Yeah, it did have really good action in it. That's one thing.
Yes.
The fight scene, just like I said earlier, the fight scene with the swords on horseback was so authentic to me. The sounds that were made, the actions, like when you get a big heavy sword swung at you, you're not going to just stand there like it's made out of cardboard. It's going to knock you back, and that's what it definitely looked believable. The movie that we watched with it was a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, I think it was the 13th Warrior. Remember that? The one fight scene with the little guys fighting the huge, giant, enormous big guy that you thought after 2 blows he was going to be gone.
Yep.
But he wore him out. Remember that scene?
I do.
That fight scene? That was very authentic to me too. It was very good stunt people to help, or trainers or whatever, to train the people to fight and make it look real and sound real. It sounded authentic. That's what I felt on these fights. You could tell that the actors and the stuntmen worked hard to practice to make sure that it looked realistic for the movie, even though the movie wasn't based on any factual, stuff. It was definitely a fairy tale, but it still made you, you were, worried that somebody wasn't going to win. And it was breathtaking to see the 2 horses galloping towards each other and stuff, and you could hear their hoof beats on the granite floor. At least I think it was stone or granite, but it was so beautiful. It was just eye candy for me. I just loved it, and I love movies like that. Just like Wind River, the beautiful backdrops, even though it was a horrifying, sad story, you were mesmerized by the beauty of the surroundings that the people were enveloped in, on a daily basis. It just made it more authentic. The characters and what they went through. It was just beautiful, and that's how I felt about this. The backdrops were just mesmerizing. Oh, and then there's another one. Six Nations wrote something up there. Oh, he already said it. Okay. But yeah, he's a solid 75 out of 100. The version is real enjoyable. Yeah, I felt the same way. I got a feeling it would grow even more on me over time. And I feel like it has for me. I mean, I was shocked every time I'd get a lump in my throat. Again, I'm like, God, don't start bawling, because, I just had so much feelings for the characters. And that's what you're supposed to have. You're supposed to have character arcs, not just flat lines through the movie. And yeah, And it was hard for Bruce, like he said, when he had such a bad score that he just could not get past because he could not get into the movie because the music was so
There's another movie out there that a lot of people had told me they liked it, and my friends that are married, they went and weathered it because no real man really would go out and see this movie the way they advertised it and marketed it. That there
hmm
was a movie called A Knight's Tale a few years ago where they had a lot of rock music and dance numbers in it,
yeah.
and the way they marketed it was kind of like the Pirates of Penzance but gayer. And
I haven't seen it, so I'm trying to visualize
we
it.
even discussed like watching it on this channel. My chat, God bless you guys for having such good common sense. You guys are like, no, don't do it, Bruce. And I heard that from a lot of people. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck that show. And you guys were like, okay, Bruce isn't gay, which is, kind of a good thing because you don't want to be gay. I want to like vaginas and big fluffy titties and big round asses, or at least comfortable asses that you can have a hot dog in a bun.
Yeah,
And
well,
just good things.
yeah, but see, that guy was saying earlier, he's saying Goldsmith's scores, for the 13th Warrior and the Mummy sound very similar. But see, that's one thing that I hear a lot of when people are talking about different movies they like, and the music that's in it, or the actor, or the action sequences, things like that. When you like a director has lots of action, he makes lots of action movies, but his action is really good. It's like real meaty and it's got a lot of stuff in it, like the John Wick films, right? A
Mhm.
person that goes to see a movie with Keanu Reeves is going because of his action
You
stuff.
shouldn't you
He's an
shouldn't really
action
go to
actor. So
there's bad.
you don't go buy a ticket to go see Keanu Reeves as a romantic comedy person. You see what I mean? So
Okay, but
once
we
a
have to discuss
person gets
this.
in there as a director or as a writer or screenwriter or as an actor in a movie, you want to go see them in a movie that you like, in the things that you remember about them. Just like Bruce Willis, Bruce Willis was an action star, and that's why he became a huge actor. So going to see him in something that was one of his okay movies isn't what made him famous, and that's not why you're buying a ticket. If he's in an action movie, you're more likely to buy a ticket to that because that's what you loved about him as an actor. See, it's very few actors like what was it, Ivan Reichman, or let's see, trying to think of some of these other ones that we liked, and we liked them because no matter what movie they were in, they were good at it. Like Gene Hackman. It didn't matter what movie he was in. I just loved him because he was a phenomenal actor. So I enjoyed all the movies I've seen him in, even if it wasn't action, if it was
But
something,
Gene
some other,
Hackman's a great actor.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I keep hearing A Knight's Tale. I should watch it because there's a really good message in there, but I'm gonna have to fast forward through the fucking music numbers. It's got four really good actors in it that I do like their work, but I didn't I can't the We Will Rock You dance number just was like, wait, that's in the movie? I'm good. I don't need to see it.
But see, I loved when we did the review on the cartoon for Flash Gordon,
Yeah.
and I loved Flash Gordon, and I went there specifically to see that type of movie.
But that's
Okay.
the best Flash Gordon that we've ever been given.
hmm
And I know this sounds really weird. Some of you are going to say blasphemy, but the greatest tale ever told is the best Flash Gordon film you'll ever see. And it has a beginning, middle, and an end. It
hmm
has a definite end to Ming, and it's done very well in the spirit of the old '80s filmation cartoon because it is filmation, but at the
hmm
same time they threw a great script at it, and it comes off like a winner. That's one of the best cartoons I've ever seen. Wolfmedia
Yeah,
says, I
but
think
see,
I
that's what
learned
I'm
to write
saying.
first night.
A
I
lot
hate
of people don't
I
like
watch it now.
anime. They don't
What?
like cartoons, so they
Okay.
won't go see it just
And those
because
people
they won't like it.
probably don't like pineapple on pizza. I'm not
Same
saying
thing
I
with
want pineapple
musicals.
on every
I know
pizza.
a few people that won't go see a musical no matter who's in it. So,
I
you
could
know,
convince you to watch a musical. If you don't like a musical, go ahead and just put it in the chat. I don't like musicals. And I'm going to convince you that we need to watch Producers from 1974 together, 1972, 1973. It's a Gene Wilder movie with Zero Mostel. And there is one of the best dance numbers you'll ever see. It's hilarious. It's absolutely criminally hilarious as to how good it is.
yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it
Okay.
yet.
We're talking about First Night in the chat. Sean Connery's Arthur was appealing. Yeah, he is. He's a really good King Arthur.
Hmm.
And sees Robin and Mary and thought, wow, this is interesting. You take a folk hero and add an AARP card to this tale, and it's a different spin. And Richard Gere is in this movie as Lancelot, stealing away Maid Marian. And it just, I look at Richard Gere like, you were okay in Pretty Woman. You weren't the manly man in Pretty Woman because you can't drive a stick, you fucking faggot. That's the problem that I have with Pretty Woman. Like, you expect me to believe that you're gonna have a fucking erection for her, but you can't drive that fucking Lotus. Are you fucking kidding me? That just pisses me off. I maybe I'm from a different era. Maybe I'm a different level of bigot. I don't give a fuck. But I cannot stand such garbage in scripts and then being shoved out on the media.
Well, I can tell you right now, I was driving to New Orleans when it was a little after I moved here, first moved to Arkansas, and I was driving on Interstate 10, and I got something flew out from underneath a semi in front of me, and I tried to go to the median in the center to miss it, and it went under my front tire on the right hand side, and I heard it go, pew, and so I held on to it, and my car, and I finally worked my way over. Flesh Gordon is another story altogether. I never heard of that one either.
Yes.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it or heard about it. But I moved over there, and then I got out, and I had a flat. So I was like, and it was 110 like outside. So I get all my stuff. I change my tire. That's when I realized the back tire is flat too. So I had two flats. So I had to call the people to come and get me, take me somewhere so I could tow me so I could get another tire because I wasn't going to make it all the way home with one donut and a flat. I was stuck. But when the guy picked me up and he checked my thing and he said, you put that on yourself? And I said, yeah. And he said, wow, I'm impressed. And he goes, no one stopped to help you? And I went, no, not a single person. Not one person stopped to help me at all. And he said, you would be shocked.
Like this, apparently.
He said, I'd be shocked at how many men that he picks up that can't even change a tire. So and this was like 2 years ago. So in today's age, I guess there's a lot of men that can't change tires on a car. So my dad wouldn't let any of us girls get our driver's license if we couldn't change a tire because he said you'd be in a rural area, you get a flat, and you'll be sitting there all night long, and you won't be able to leave. You'll be stranded there because you can't change a tire. And he goes, that's ridiculous. Everyone who drives should have to be able to change a tire. Period. So we learned, even if we had to stand on it, and jump on it to get the nuts off so that we could take the tire off because sometimes they get really tight. They're really hard to get off. But so that's why I want to tell you that is because it's funny that you said that about.
Janet, what is your score for this movie? We never got to your score.
Yeah, I gave my score.
I didn't hear it, and I apologize.
Oh, I said it was 8.8 out of 100.
88, it's not bad.
It's just under 89. Just a tiny bit, just from little tiny little things that I found.
What's your and is that for the theatrical version?
That's for both. Because honestly, watching both of them, it was nice to have the more subdued music. But to me, I enjoyed I cried in the same places. I felt the same about the characters. And I tried to see if there was a difference. But honestly, I didn't feel any different from the soundtracks of either one that made me like or not like the movie. So that had nothing to do with my score.
I guess my other question would be, are you aware of what we're watching next week?
Yeah, not without my daughter.
Yes, Sally Field TV movie in honor of Ramadan. We're going to be watching a movie that would be absolutely haram. Not allowed. Not allowed.
Mhm.
Because it gives, the shitty religion, the shitty cult, a black eye. And we surely could use that in today's day and age. Scotland, our prayers are with you. Hopefully, you man up and you kick out the invaders. And hopefully, anybody in Western civilization, they do the same thing. We don't need these people polluting our world, ruining our livelihood, ruining our neighborhoods. That's all I'm going to say. And if you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
Well, the thing is, I'm a firm believer that if you want to come to America, you need to assimilate into America and become an
Mhm.
American citizen. That means learn to speak English, learn to read and write English, and be able to talk to people, every day in everyday life, and
There's
be able to get a job or drive a car. All those things. That means you assimilate into our country, or don't come here. If you're going to come here and have 6 generations of people in your family that never learn to speak English, then don't come here. That's how
I just don't value a nation or a ideology behind a nation that I think cute. That's cute.
I mean,
So,
even Norway, you have to be able to speak the language. You
but
have to
the thing
learn to
is,
speak the language to become a citizen there.
I don't like the third world. I never have liked the third world. I've been over in parts of it. I don't like it. I want it to go away, or it can stay away. But like, I want a giant wall between us and it. And if you like the third world, great, stay there. But don't try to convert what I enjoy to your shitty existence. I think a lot more Americans feel that way than by saying, "Yeah, let's open up our neighborhoods and let's bring in these people under Section 8 housing and let's just ruin everything that we fought for 200 years." I mean, we have a very progressive society. I'm not proud of everything we've done, but we've done some great things. And I cannot agree with the thought of like bringing people over that have a religious cult that tells them that they're going to ruin and infiltrate and destroy everything about any other relationship with between people and their government, to where we have a miserable existence like what they had before they came here. I don't like that. I want a happy society. I want to be able to drive on bump free roads. I don't understand this. But too many people are willing to just throw their neighbors under the bus. And the Democrat Party is not really a party in general, they're a cult movement because that is a belief, that is a religion they have, and a lot of people don't see that. And then you have the deliberate religion that hates Western civilization, that's Islam. And it's just a shame that we allowed that to exist. I bitch and moan about the Catholics for not finishing the job right the first time.
Well, you see this outfit that I'm wearing?
I love it, and I'm
Okay.
sure I
Well,
will
I
never
would be stoned to death in the street for wearing this
my
if I was being controlled by Muslims. So that would take my rights away as a woman to
that's
be able to
true.
dress like this, things like that. So if you want your wife to sit in the house and suck her thumb in the corner and just do what she's told like a dog and tell her to cook or clean or whatever, then that's the world for you. But it's not for me, and there should be other people to be able to make that decision. What kind of life they want to live, and that isn't what I want in my life
I mean,
for myself or my daughters or anyone, any woman, if that's not how she wants to live,
well,
you know. But
apparently,
I saw something. Let's see, where was it? It said, "Sorry, I'm a nationalist." LOL. There's nothing wrong with being a nationalist. If that's what you believe, you have the right to believe that. I'm just thankful that you live in this country and you have the right to be that, to have that choice. That's the difference between our country and others. It may not be perfect, but guess what? I think it's better, the best one that we have in this world. I really do. I think it was.
I heard this back
Said
in
that.
'95.
Do what?
I heard this back in '95. I don't know. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, I heard lots of rumors like that about people. So how did he get it up his butt in the first place?
I don't want to know. I'm
Well,
I'm pretty okay. I'm sure they've got it on film somewhere.
I don't want to
Actually,
see.
no. With Richard Gere, if it was on film, it would have been publicized because there was a time period in the '90s where they were trying to make him like the manly man or the manliest of men because he had the Pretty Woman and he had First Night come out, and
Mhm.
I couldn't imagine him
Didn't
stealing.
he? Wasn't he an Officer and a Gentleman too?
Was
Was
it
that
him
him?
or was it Kevin Costner?
It wasn't Kevin Costner. Mm-mm.
It might have been him.
I think it was
Strawberry
Richard
pieces,
Gere.
that's what he says. Never heard of that.
Because remember, he was calling him mayonnaise. You know, give me some sit-ups, mayonnaise. He was teasing him, his drill instructor.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember that.
yeah, I thought it was him.
I've seen the Flesh Gordon. The
And
first
I'm trying to remember the actress that was in that one. I can't remember, but she was very mousy, not a sex pot or anything.
Mhm.
That's what I thought was interesting.
Reading for
But I can't remember what her name was. I'm sorry. I'm terrible.
You know, Michigan and Minnesota need to get their acts together. That's all I'm going to say. I've
There's a
been.
lot of states that need to get their acts together.
I mean, Texas definitely
Arizona,
fucked up so bad.
Colorado, Oregon, California, a lot of them. I mean, look, they're about to. When are they going to have that election in New York for the new mayor? They might have a
Guy
Muslim
that can't
mayor.
bench press 135 pounds. That is so.
I mean,
funny.
look what happened to England. You know, when London became a Muslim mayor. Somebody showed some videos to me, and they were saying, "Where do you think this came from?" And I was looking at it, I was like, "Is that in India or somewhere?" And they said, "No, this is London." I was like, "What?" It did not look like, I didn't see a single English-looking person, if you know what I mean. It
We
was
went out.
all men.
We went to London back in '95. We had a day trip over there, and the first probably 5 minutes we were in London, I was seeing nothing but Middle Easterners, and I was wondering like what the fuck had we done? But it was just the neighborhood that the bus station was in,
Yeah.
and that after you walk 5 minutes in any direction, you're out of it. Well, apparently now half the city's that way, and I'm so sad. Nothing wrong with being a nationalist. I love America. I love America as like 1950s America. As much as people are like that's too puritanical, give me the Saturday Morning Post cartoons, or Saturday Evening Post cartoons and paintings. I'll live in that world happily.
Well, I want to tell him something. My dad was a jungle survival instructor. He taught scuba diving, all kinds of different natural, things on how to survive in the wild for pilots and stuff that would, might crash and need to be take care of themselves, fix their broken bones or whatever, and wait, wherever they're supposed to wait or try to get to an extraction point. That's what my dad did. And he traveled all over. He did stuff in Canada. He did stuff in all different countries to train people. But you know what he told us girls? He
What's
told
that?
all of us girls, the military is no place for a woman. I do not want any of my daughters to join the military. And he said, because years later, when I watched the first time I watched G.I. Jane, I had that same conversation that Bruce kind of gave when we did the movie review, because I see it, and I still see it the same way that saw it then when I talked to my dad. And so I was talking to my dad about it, and I said, so if a woman can pass all that stuff without having to lower the standards, then I believe that she should be able to pass, because even if she's a woman, because I've seen some women, big women that can kick the ass of a man as a firefighter, but she can carry the hose up the ladder. She can do all the things. But if she weighs 97 pounds, they shouldn't lower the standards if she can't drag a 300-pound man that's unconscious out of his home and save his life. That's bullshit. I don't believe in giving anyone any job, whether you're a man or a woman, if you can't do the damn job, because they might show up at my house and my family might die because they only have 2 men on there and the rest are women that can't lift a fire hose. That's bullshit. That DEI is bullshit. I don't agree with that. But I'm a firm believer in that. And when I told my dad about the whole thing with G.I. Jane, this is what he said. He said, Janet, it's not the woman that's going to cause the problem. He said, it doesn't matter if she's a big, bulky woman that looks like a Viking, okay? If she's on a team with all men in an elite force and they're sent in to do something, and something happens and she gets captured or she gets wounded, guess what? It endangers the whole team. Not because she sucked or she didn't do her job. It's because the men are going to treat her as a woman. Okay. They're going to want to protect her, and it will endanger the rest of the team because they're going to try to do something they would not normally do if it was just a man. That's what my dad tried to explain to me. And that's what I tried to explain to Bruce when we watched it, about the whole process of not lowering standards for a woman to get women to be in any of these elite groups. If she can be a pilot and she can do the same damn shit the other men can do, then she should be able to be a pilot. That's how I see it. But my dad didn't agree, because he said when you put a woman in a group, like on a submarine, or you send them out on an elite force like my dad would do, certain things where you have 10 men and they go in and they do a certain thing. They're supposed to go in and extract someone. A woman being in there would endanger the group, because if something was to happen to her, like let's say 3 of them are captured and the woman's being raped, the men will say things and do things they wouldn't do if it was a guy. That even if the guy's getting raped, the men won't look at it the same way as they would it being a woman. And he tried to explain that to me to the best of his ability, and I think I understood. But none of us daughters signed up to be in the military. A few of us did marry military guys, but none of us signed up because my dad disapproved. So, and I didn't look down on my dad, and I don't think my dad hates women or thinks that women should be in the kitchen, pregnant or whatever. I never looked at it that way. But, everyone deserves to have the right to believe what they believe, as long as it doesn't infringe on other people's rights. That's how I believe it. So that's my point of view. And if you don't like it, oh, well, there's nothing to do about it. That's who I am. And I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. So that's just the way it is.
I'm not saying that I want to see more women septic and plumbers, but I'm going to say that I've seen a few, and I kind of wonder what their families think of them for the fact that they're fucking around with feces and really nasty grease. But at the same time, they're not like gunning down people or insurgents or liberating a neighborhood, or they're not tasked with the manly job of law enforcement or frontline military work. And I'm not a big fan of women in military roles to begin with, because you put them in a unit and the entire unit has to go through an HR session, and you have to take down all your nudie photos and calendars. You have to change.
That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't affect that. That's what my dad was trying to explain, was the fact that the men have to
we have to conform.
Change their thought process, because a female being involved, even if she looks like a man, this is my dad tried to tell me, some big buff woman that looks like she could rip your head off with her bare hands, she's all muscular and rippled up and everything, and she doesn't even look like a woman. But the fact that we know she's a woman changes everything when it comes down to that moment where she's in trouble.
If you get overrun and you've got females in your unit, your females are going to be like your VIPs. You're going to forget about your officer class.
Yeah, and that's what my dad was trying to say to me.
Because the females are used in warfare as rape targets. And so that's just the problem that you have with women in the military.
Yeah, and that's what my dad said. Why do you think when you see it on TV, you don't see it a lot anymore? He says they don't want you to see it now. But years ago, you used to see it on TV where the bad guys, the terrorists, would grab kids and put them in front of them, and women. Why? Because they know that the Americans won't shoot the kids or the women. Man, that's why we need sharpshooters.
No idea.
Above their head and shoot the guy in the head and get rid of it.
I would massacre a school bus full of kids if they were hell-bent on blowing up their Tannerite vests when they got too close to the Toys R Us, okay? I don't give a shit what it is. If you're fucking attacking Western civilization, you go from a human being to a target. And I think most military guys actually have that mentality. I mean, not that anything I ever would accrued, I would ever seen that, because, like, okay, maybe a 50 caliber that I've been trained on, I would actually see that. But, like, when I was fucking around with the 5-inch gun and they were teaching me how to fucking dial in targets on that, you're inside the skin of the ship. You're inside the ship, and you can't see what's outside. You can't see what the observation guy's seeing. You're just hearing numbers being punched in from your operators, and you're just dialing that and pushing that into the buttons or dialing that down on whatever it is. The 5-inch mounts on the frigate was amazing. You had to wear like double or triple hearing protection if you wanted to hear it later that day. But you didn't see the bad guy. It being military Navy is much different than being infantry, Army, or USMC.
Mm.
But I would still, like I said, I wouldn't care like if people get offended. Like, no, there's an attack going on Toys R Us right now. A busload of kids with Tannerite vests are going in close, and they're going to try to blow it up. No, fuck you. We're going to save Gregory the
Is
giraffe.
that why we don't have Toys R Us anymore?
I don't know why we don't have Toys R Us anymore. I think it's a failure of marketing because they should have fucking won the marketing game. My lady was RCAF, Canadian Air Force, was mechanic, not front line. And I'm just going to say, like, I don't support women in military because you have to convert the entire culture to allow women in there to make them feel comfortable. You have to change the entire fucking pre-process before they can even get in. They have to have the ability to do only 10 push-ups where you have to do 50. You have to change your qualifiers on your yearly fitness evals. It's bullshit, like the weights, the things you have to fuck with don't get any lighter just because women are working on it.
But see, even the same thing, if you were going to be, whether you're a man or a woman, and you're applying for a job to be a nurse, or you're applying for a job to be a, whatever job it is, I don't care, a plumber or any of these jobs, electrician, if you can't pass the test, why should they get the job? You see what I mean? Who wants an electrician that came in that made a D and didn't pass, okay, but he forged his paperwork or whatever to make it look like he passed? Or do you want someone, and they say, well, we have to give it to him because, he's just tall or whatever, for whatever the dumb reasons to give these people these jobs. I don't want him coming to my house and rewiring my house. I want someone who knows what they're doing and got hired because they knew how to do the job. That's what I want. I don't give a shit what they look like. I don't care if they're tall, short, fat, skinny, what skin color they have, or whether they're a man or woman. If they can do the job, then I want them. That's what I'm willing to pay them money to do in my home for me. Anyone, that's common sense, but hiring somebody just because, we need more women, or we need more short people, or we don't have any whatever working here, we need some. I just think that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And whatever idiot came up with that idea is an idiot. I don't have any answers for that because that's just stupid. It doesn't help society at all. It hurts us all in the long run when you hire people that don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, look at what we're doing right now with all these crappy movies. And they just keep making them because somebody is paying for it. Yeah, it's a passing grade, but if you had the grades of a doctor on the wall, okay, let's say they put the grade, I made a D, I passed my test, blah blah blah, I'm an oral surgeon or whatever with a D, okay, and then you go into another office and it says it's a B. Which doctor would you want cutting in your mouth? See, that's why they don't put scores on there. They just put that they got a document.
These get degrees, absolutely.
I know.
We want people that believe in meritocracy. Yeah, exactly, Wolf 10. I'd like to understand. I think we all are on the same page. If you're on my channel, I'm pretty much thinking we all are. I mean, you can't tolerate me if you're a fucking liberal. I know that much.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that like most of us are on the same page with this. I don't think this movie's as bad as what it was at the start of the day. I was really dreading this. I was hoping it wouldn't suck. It didn't suck. It was enjoyable. There's a lot of things in this film to take a look at, to get a good deep inhale on, and just Michelle Pfeiffer looks great in this movie. Rutger Hauer comes off just like a badass, and Matthew Broderick. If there was ever a better thief, okay, there is, and it's Conan the Destroyer. Conan the Destroyer has the best thief in it of all time.
Yeah, he is way better.
Yeah,
but he wasn't comical.
No, he was comical.
Not in the same way as he is.
No, not the same way as Matt Broderick. No.
Yeah.
But I really like Matt Broderick as a thief in this movie. I thought it was good, and thank God Matt Broderick has never been miscast as a brawny fighter. That's all That's the one thing I
No,
can say
yeah.
thank God for.
I don't think that would ever happen.
I mean, they did try to make Richard Gere manly, but that never quite worked out well. Okay.
You're good in the uniform. Well, sorry.
Next week we've got
Not without my daughter.
Not Without My Daughter, and then the week after that is the New Zealand classic Black Sheep. So if you're looking
Yeah, I
for
haven't seen that one.
yeah, we're gonna watch that movie.
I haven't seen this one we're going to watch either.
Not Without My Daughter. No,
Mm-mm.
it's good. It's really good.
My mom loves Sally Field, so I'm sure my mom's seen it, but I never did.
This was a good Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Janet, I've ran out of things that are important to say, and I would like to tell everybody in this chat, everybody in my Rumble, everybody that's watching us on Twitter, thank you so much, and I will let Janet escort us out.
Well, I'm going to say thank you to everyone who's been hanging out with us and doesn't get tired of listening to us gab and bitch and moan or whatever. But we appreciate it, and it's a lot of fun. I love getting to watch movies I haven't seen before and trying to, dress up a little bit in theme or as a character from the movies that we talk about, because I just love that. I love doing it. I don't get to do the cosplay and stuff as much as I used to because of where I live. Now there's just not a lot of stuff here. But I did go to the last con that we did have here. That was fun. So I'm going to try to go to the next one when I've seen signs for it. But it's just hard now, to get around and do that when you live out in the middle of the booties. But thank you guys. We really appreciate it. And we thank you so much just for, just wanting to hang out with us just for a little while. And hopefully, if you guys have any idea of any movies that we haven't done or anything like that, send us a message either on X or on Discord or even on Bruce House Gilded, and or on his Rumble. You can send him a message on there. Can't you? Can you send messages on there or not?
Yeah.
Post it on his page or whatever. He'll read it. But yeah, just give us an idea of what you're interested in, and maybe we'll try to put it on our list, see if we can get to it. We've done an awful lot of movies because I was going through our list on my channel, and I don't even have all the ones that Bruce has because we did movies for almost a year before I ever started doing any lives on my own channel. So we've done a lot of movies. And it's been great. I look forward to it every week. It's a lot of fun to get to hang out with Bruce, because, we're close friends, and it's fun. I enjoy his company. He's funny. He makes me laugh. And I love playing his games every Saturday. I don't even, I don't have a weekend life. I spend my whole weekend with Bruce, whatever we're doing. But thank you guys again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening tonight, and that your next week at work or whatever you're doing goes great, and you have good weather. There you go. How's that?
Sounds great.